If you struggle with shyness or social anxiety, check out our free No BS training course with actual useful advice you can do from home. None of that just get out there nonsense. The link is in the description below. For now, let's get to today's question.
The question, my social anxiety can't be fixed, what can I do? Answer by Orinocan. Listen, there's always a way out. Always. I know exactly how you are feeling. I had the exact same struggle for years, and I know how hard it can be. I was terrified of everyone, and in my mind, they were all always judging every little thing I did, and it was horrible. It was like that for a really long time, but it all suddenly ended when I realized two simple things. The first is that the only person who really judges you is no other than yourself. Yes. The thoughts you think they are thinking about you? That's you thinking them. Remember that. They are people, just like you, with thoughts and feelings just like you, and you can talk to them. Believe me. You are never as alone as you think you are, and there are many, many people that are going through the exact same thing as you. And so, people really do understand. There has to be someone who seems nice around you. Someone you know. You can talk to them. You can say something like, listen, I know we're not really close, but can I talk to you about something? They'll be glad to listen, I promise you. The second thing I realized is that there is no such thing as eternity. Everything ends, for the good and the bad. This minute, this hour, this day, this week, month, semester, year, this awkward encounter, this night, you're suffering. It is never forever, and before you know it, it will just be all behind you. Whatever you do not ever give up. You are here for a reason, and everyone is afraid. Everyone. It is super scary to talk to people. Their reactions. I know. But you just have to overcome that. There is no easy way. And you know what? Once you do, once you overcome this struggle, overcoming things in general will become so much easier, because a growing process, a fight in one place, is also a fight for being able to fight. And if somehow, all else does fail, just know there is absolutely no shame in going to a doctor, and there is no shame in taking pills on daily basis. So many people are doing that, and it's totally normal. I believe in you, my friend. You'll do great. I wish you well. Answer by Oz Kirsten. It may seem to you that your situation is hopeless, but the truth is your social anxiety can be fixed. Your anxiety is just a manifestation of underlying issues which need to be dealt with effectively. Ongoing stress is the cause of most emotional and physical conditions, so the best place to start is by getting to understand what stress actually is, what causes it, and how it can be dealt with effectively. This free short course, How to Beat Chronic Stress and Illness, discusses these issues. Review by Ron Huxley, LMTF Power Insights. Excellent course. This web course on how to beat chronic stress and illness offers some very powerful insights into the brain and body that will help anyone dealing with toxic stress. As a therapist who works with children and adults, I can verify that the material is based on sound scientific principles that I use every day with my own clients. I would recommend it to anyone dealing with toxic stress and chronic illness to use this course to increase personal healing and wellness. Rated 5 out of 5. Answer by Kathy Chiba. Okay. You're on mine. At least sometimes. And you do want help. You are telling someone, even though it's a bunch of someones who might or might not see your question on Quora. You might know people who you could approach, but right now it sounds like you're too worried about approaching them. It sounds like you are worried about sharing anything with them. If you see this answer, then do this. Type crisis line or what is the number for a crisis line in the search box in Google or whatever your favorite search engine might be. Look for words like crisis center, suicide prevention hotline, or something similar. Look for a number to call. Often they are 1800 numbers. Call that number. Stay on the line. When someone talks to you, just start with something simple. Like, I feel terrible. I need help. If you have any doubts about what to say, read out the question you've written here on Quora. If you're embarrassed about reading your question, tell them that someone told you should do that, and you're just trying it. You can say someone made you do it if you want. You are anonymous here, and no one knows who you are or where you live, so the suggestion above is generic. If you don't have location services of some sort turned on in your browser, you might need to enter the name of your city, state, town, province. The basic gist is, call a crisis hotline. Even if you're not sure what to say, just say you want help. Read what he wrote if it helps you to get it out. The people who work on crisis lines are trained to listen, and trained to help you find the help you need. Many of them have gone through similar experiences. Many have had the experience of feeling ashamed of their thoughts and feelings. Many have felt alone, and even though they don't know you, they want to help. They are not there to judge you. They are not there to judge what you think, what you feel, or what you've done. They are there to help keep you safe, and to help you find a path out of your distress and despair. You are going to have to do some of the work. You are going to have to find a number, dial a number, and stay on the phone long enough to say I feel awful, and I need help. Everything else flows from there. You've taken an important first step by reaching out here. Consider your post here on Quora as a test run. Take another test run and call a crisis line. You can stay anonymous, you can stay just another voice on the line. If you find yourself starting to plan to hurt yourself in any way, then get immediate help. Call the crisis line. Call a doctor. Or haul yourself into emergency. And if even that feels too scary, too overwhelming, then at least start by putting yourself close to a source of community support. For some people, it might mean walking into their church and reaching out to their pastor. For others, it might be looking for a support group specifically for issues like anxiety. For still others, it might be looking for a place that offers confidential counseling support. There are lots of people trained to listen non-judgmentally. They've seen a lot. You are not alone in your social anxiety. You are not alone in your fear. And you don't have to feel like it. You don't have to suffer the way you do now, and you don't have to deal with this alone. Go somewhere where you know there are people trained to help, and reach out. By the way, I often have spikes of shame and thoughts I don't want to have. I sometimes make weird noises when I'm out in public, and yes, it's often in response to a spike of feeling or an uncomfortable thought. And yes, it's a little embarrassing. But it's a little habit, and sure, it's eccentric, but I'm not hurting anyone. Some people even find it mildly endearing. I have fairly high natural anxiety levels, and I often feel spikes of shame and guilt about not living up to certain standards. It doesn't matter if the standards are sensible or not, I can be really hard on myself for my supposed transgressions. I have perspective, but I lose that perspective sometimes. I don't know what your embarrassing thoughts might be, but it's highly likely that you're judging yourself much more harshly for those thoughts than any reasonable person ever would. Just one more thought. You might have social anxiety about the thoughts you have and the little noises you make, but given that you mention embarrassing thoughts, I wonder if some obsessive-compulsive disorder elements are part of what's causing you distress here? I am not a clinical psychologist or psychiatrist, but I have had an OCD diagnosis. I had recurring thoughts of hurting myself in response to spikes in anxiety levels. In some respects, I believe it was a coping mechanism that went awry. People are often very ashamed of compulsive thoughts, because often the thoughts involve things that are socially unacceptable or even horrifying things that they know they don't want to do or have happen. OCD symptoms are often very distressing because the people experiencing them see very clearly how problematic they are, and they feel powerless to control them. There are ways to deal with OCD symptoms, but as long as you don't reach out for help, you stay alone in your distress. Whatever you are feeling right now, however you may be judging yourself, trust me, you do not have to be alone in this. There are people in this world who will see you for all of who you are, and accept you as a whole. Quirks and anxieties and all. They may be hard to find at first, but the more you let people see you, the more you reach out and share your fears and anxieties and dreams and all the little things that make you who you are, the easier it will be for them to find you.